Good afternoon and welcome to the Lummy Sports Show featuring Babyface. I'm Babyface Brian Matroni, as always joined by the host with the most when Bubba's not next to me, Lummy Garrison.
Well, thank you, Brian, for the great introduction.
How you doing, buddy?
Great. How are you doing, Brian?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Last 2 days you called in, bring some strong hate, some strong good points, though.
You don't like when I call in. You don't like the heat that you catch.
Well, listen, I like when you call in because most of the time it's about sports. When I like I do like your take on a lot of the sports that are going on. It's usually toward the end of your call when then the hate comes out.
Not a lot of hate. It's a little heat.
It's heat.
Hate and heat are spelled using the same letters, but they're arranged differently.
True. Exactly. But, yeah, usually I think it's the last 2, 3, 4 minutes of your call that you...
It's just so easy to get under your skin. Like, I know what buttons to push, and I know how to set you off so easily.
You sure do. I sit there, and I'm just like, okay, yep, everything's okay, and then...
Bam, it happens.
Yep, and then I just start going, okay, there's 1, 2, okay, 3, okay, now I'm going to say something because it's just too much. But yeah, like today, then you get your big show tomorrow at 12.
Yeah, that's it's going to be an exciting one. I'm right, you're wrong / left with Bubba. That'll be interesting to see.
I do know there's been some people in chat when Bubba has talked about it and you've called, and there's a lot of people think it's going to be a one and done. And you will pretty much they're predicting that it may go the full time.
Oh, it'll go an hour. There's no way we don't go a full hour, but I think Bubba will grow tired of the idea very quickly.
And of you pretty much counterpointing him, and he doesn't have a counterpoint back. Is that what you're kind of predicting?
No, because I think so. Here's what I'm predicting. So the first show, I think we get to a second show. The first show, I think he's going to have enough topics where he knows he will pin me down on, where I won't be able to squirm. I'm squirmy and he'll be grubs, and he won't be, and he'll be comfortable with that. It's the second show that I think will be the make or break show for us.
Oh, so yeah, pretty much he'll be really prepared for the first one, and that second one will be he probably doesn't prepare enough.
No, or the issues aren't as tilted in his favor that he wants to discuss.
I gotcha.
So we'll see, though. I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun to talk to Bubba and hear his take on things. He does have a different perspective than me, and he comes from a different, point of view. So
813-90-BUBBA, 813-90-BUBBA. Let's go to our first call before we talk about NHL. 206.
Hello, my friend.
206.
Amazon driver, my friend. I hear from door. Is it open door, please?
You open the door?
See, open the door, please.
Okay, it's open.
Who are you calling from?
Did you come in?
Yes, no, they're from outside. Sorry.
Are you FedEx, UPS, DHL, a crazy person?
Principal, exactly, my friend. Principal door.
Brian, can you understand this guy?
I don't know.
Are you delivering a package?
Yes, exactly. Deliver the pack. I hear the principal door.
I don't fully understand.
What do you think of the NHL free agency going on so far, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I hear.
Are you at the
door?
Are you at the gate?
The principal. Yes, the gate. Exactly, the gate.
Okay. All right. We'll come out. Hold on. You go ahead and talk a little on me. I'll go check and see what's up.
Yeah. Well, if you don't come back in 5 minutes, Brian.
I'm not going outside.
You checking the door?
Visually looking.
Whoa. Yeah. That was. I don't know if anyone could actually understand that guy. Yeah. Someone ordered Chinese. I don't know. It was a 206 number. I think that's Washington. Yeah, Brian. Actually, I should push Brian out and just lock him out. Have him go out there. Maybe that's the crazy guy's new little fake voice he's got there. But yeah, we got a action-packed show on all the sports going on. You know, a lot of people are doing, different top 10s. We're probably going to break down a lot of free agent signings in the NHL today. It's crazy. Then we All-Star games coming up. I got a list. Hopefully we can follow that list. You know, Brian sometimes does get off. I mean, that's if Brian actually does come back. If that guy is a delivery driver, he might need to learn to, explain himself since he said he was out the side door. But the new soccer team. So Jamie Flynn said, let's talk about the new soccer team. It's the indoor soccer team that's going to be playing at the USF Arena. I don't really know how well that's going to do. Yeah, Brian's got a package. All right, Blitz. I mean, look, the Rowdies are doing pretty well. It's an outdoor. I mean, I guess you consider the indoor a national. Oh, there actually was a package? Was he Amazon? Yeah. That's an Amazon driver?
Yeah, it was an Amazon driver in his personal vehicle. They do that now.
Oh, do they?
For overflow. Yeah, he took it right out of his trunk. It's like a 24-pack of Monster Energy cans. And he was a short little dude, too.
What
so we're passing it over the gate to each other.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it was funny.
What nationality was he?
Oh, he was Hispanic of some sort.
Oh, Hispanic. Well, he called from Washington.
Well, he called from the gate, but his number was from Washington.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was wondering, maybe he was like Asian or Indian, for the Washington area, but I'm glad you're back in here, Brian. I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah, I'm good. I successfully got the package.
Yeah, and it was a little bit longer than I was comfortable with. I was about to just lock the door and unlock the studio door.
Lock down and be like, well, Brian's goner.
I'll call 911 after the show. I got we got some people on that we want to entertain. But...
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the penis pumps, everybody.
Oh no, those are going to Blitz's house. He's probably already broke one open.
Yeah,
Brian, you gonna try one?
Not one of your guys's. No.
But if you got one, would you do it? Would you try it?
I mean, what's the big thing about these? How are they different than the old ones?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I really have no. I guess they have a digital. Instead of maybe using your hands, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I never had an old one. Did you?
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying, is there something that's supposed to be better about them now than the old school ones? Or
Yeah, I think you push a button and you can see. Yeah, I think there's a digital button on the front or a digital screen, and you see how much you pump it up. I don't know. I guess we'll see on Friday. I'm taking it home over the weekend.
Okay, well, enjoy it, man.
Thanks.
I'm sure Ashley will have some fun with that.
Oh, I'm sure Steven Estep, 200 stars. So, NHL free agency started today.
What a day. What a big day for the Lightning.
Oh, yeah. Man, they love passing out those 8-year contracts, huh?
Well, it's smart in a sense. You're locking up your best young players, your core. You got to be right. You take a lot of risk that they're not going to be seriously injured and have some problems. So they locked up Sergachev 8 years, about $8.5 million per. They locked up Cirelli 8 years,
yep.
$6.25 per, and they locked up Chernak 8 years, $5.25 per. Something like that.
Yeah, about $41 million total, $50 million on Cirelli, and $68 million on Sergachev. Now, are you happy with those deals? Are you happy with the Sergachev deal?
Sergachev's a little bit of an overpaid to me unless he truly turns into a number one top line defenseman. If you're paying your your second line, so Cale Makar, who just led Colorado to the Stanley Cup, he's getting $9 million a season. So is Sergachev worth $500,000 less per season than Makar? I don't think so. I would have thought a better number for him would have been 8 years, $7 million. But keep in mind that the salary cap will likely go up significantly in about 3 seasons. So it will be less painful because he'll be taking up less of the cap, and there will be other defensemen that are getting much more than that. So in a sense, locking him up for a longer term, Sergachev is potentially leaving money on the table in future years where he could have been making $10 or $11 million a season as a true number one defenseman if he reached that point. As for the Cirelli deal, I think it was pretty spot on. I would have liked it right at 6, but it's not a bad deal. We know what he is. He's pretty consistent. Chernak, I love the number. I love the yearly number because that's what a true second line defenseman should be making.
That's about 5.25. You said, right?
What I don't love is the term on him. It's too long given his style of play. He's a very physical type of defenseman. He gets banged up a lot, and I don't know that years, 5, 6, 7, 8 of his contract. They could become, devastating. But it's the chance you have to take. It's a smart move to get him locked up now. You now have certainty. You know what your situation is going into next season, which next season is going to be the leanest year for them. Understand that. This was the easy offseason to get things done. You didn't have a lot of free agents you had to lock up. You had 3. Next year, they've got 9. Oof. They've got 9 guys they got to sign, and they've got $11.4 million available. So it is going to be tight. So let's talk about the 2 signings for this year.
Yeah, Ian Cole
and Nemestnikov, who's returning to the Lightning.
Yep.
Started his career here, left following, I think, the 18 season. So he does have familiarity playing with the top-line guys.
ESPN calls him the prodigal forward.
Yeah, says he has now come home.
Yep.
The key thing on these guys, and what you have to keep in mind is the term, right? They got both of these guys for 1-year terms because they know they needed the flexibility to sign the core 3 for next year. So Cole is a pretty equivalent replacement to Jan Rutta. Jan Rutta got 3 years, $8.25 million from Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Now, that's less per year than they're giving Cole, but it's longer term. And they would not have had the money next year to give Rutta, $2.75 million or $2.5 million a year. So, getting Cole, even though it's $250,000 more on a 1-year deal, it's a good signing by the Bolts. That's as good as they could have hoped to have done with a defenseman. Defensemen are really, even third-line defensemen are going for a premium right now in the NHL. They want term. So that was good. The Nemestnikov deal, much the same. I would have rather had Mason Marchant, for 3 years at $3 million per. Like I think he ended up signing a 4-year, $3.25 or $3.5 million per deal. But again, Nemestnikov is a comfortable name, somebody they could bring in on a 1-year kind of show me deal, and that works out. So that's it for the Lightning. Unless they make a trade, they only have $442,000 in salary cap space remaining for next year. They appear to be done.
2 things that Big E7375 said in the chat is that Cole is good, but it can be lazy at times. And then he says rumor is that they offered Malkin 5 years, $35.5 million, and he turned it down to stay in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't think that that's true at all.
You don't think they offered him that much? I mean, that is obviously
not for a
35.
Not for a 36-year-old forward. No, not when they had to get Cirelli and Chernak locked up. No, there's no way they offered that to Malkin. 0.0% chance they did. If they did, then they would not be re-signing Anthony Cirelli. They would have been moving on. And the speed with which they got announced all 3 of the deals for Sergachev, Cirelli, and Chernak lets me know that these deals were done deals prior to today. That today was just the day that they announced it.
Now, Pilotta hasn't signed anywhere yet, has he?
No, he's one team
it.
Interested in him is Anaheim. He's probably looking at a 5 to 6 year contract at about $6 million per average value. That was just outside of what the Lightning could afford. They could, if he wanted to come back on a 1-year team-friendly deal, he could have, but it would have been to his own detriment. He could get injured, have something happen. This is his last chance to get good, guaranteed money for the rest of his career, and he needed to take advantage of it.
Now, I got the ESPN Plus here, and I'm looking at how they graded it out, like the big signings.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, number 1 is Darcy going to the Capitals.
Yeah.
Now, what do you now with that contract deal? He's 32, 5 years, $5.25 million annually. What do you think of that deal for the Capitals?
I like deals 1 through 3, years 1 through 3 for them. Again, they're giving up term for a cheaper salary on the front side. So years 4 and 5 are going to be a little rough on his performance, but he's been, over the last few seasons, he's been the second most consistent goalie in hockey, right behind Andrei Vasilevsky. Or, well, technically, I think he's got a .921 save percentage over the last 3 seasons or 4 seasons, and Vazzy's a .920. So he's right there. I think he was probably the best goalie available. I know Campbell got a pretty sizable contract from Edmonton. I would have taken Kemper over Campbell, even though the age becomes an issue on Kemper. But if you're looking to win in the next 3 seasons, Kemper is a better option.
Are you surprised that, was it Samsonov signed with the Maple Leafs, that the Maple Leafs went and signed him?
No, that's a good signing by them. I mean, they're trading off Mrazek and Campbell for Samsonov and who was it, Martin, or that they acquired in the trade.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have traded. I like Campbell and I don't like Campbell. I like Kemper better than I like the other goalies. But, you can't win them all. And sometimes the player doesn't want to go to the team that needs them the most. So, it's one of those things. But I think that the Toronto is going to rue their goalkeeping. They've got guys with upside potentially, but they've both played down the last few years. Now,
how much does this hurt the Stanley Cup champs?
Burakovsky getting pulled away and Kemper?
Yeah.
Well, they got a goalie.
I know, but I mean, obviously they were splitting time. I mean, do you think that this hurts Colorado in the long run, or are they sold on the goalie they have? Obviously they were playing him. What Kemper paid? What did he pay? 57 games, I believe it was. Yeah, 57 games last year.
Yeah, no. What they're sold on is Georgiev, who they acquired from the Rangers. They traded for a very, very talented young goalie who was going to be stuck behind Shesterkin, Sweet Gherkin.
Sweet Gherkin.
But you look at Colorado and you see that they have two a decent backup in Pavel Francouz, and they have Georgiev on a steal at $3.4 million for the next 3 years. They've only got $5.4 million committed to their goaltending. It's very cheap, especially with Georgiev's potential upside. It enabled them to go out and re-sign Nichushkin, but they did lose Burakovsky, so that's a pretty big loss for them. Next year is the tough year for them. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unrestricted free agents and 2 restricted free agents. So they will be in, and the biggest one among them being Nathan McKinnon, who's going to be commanding a probably $11 to $12 million potentially on the open market, given his quality. He took a bridge deal. That's the other thing with the Lightning's deal. Deals with these guys is it's also the franchise coming through, because these young players took those bridge deals, which were short-term, market value short-term deals, in order to get the bigger payday now and the longer term now. And so the Lightning, they earn a lot of credibility with players when they do those bridge deals. The players perform under those bridge deals, and then they reward them with long-term contracts. So if I'm a free agent or if I'm another player looking at a team, it makes me feel good about the relationship I'm going to have with ownership and with the management of the Lightning.
I'm just trying to see if there's any new updates on it, on any new signings. I guess there's 2 small. You got it looks like the Red Wings are making a lot of signings today too. Looks like they made one of the best signings in that set. Who's the center they signed today?
Kopp?
Yeah, Kopp.
Yeah, that was a good pickup. Big loss for the Rangers, even though they had just, I think, acquired him at the trade deadline. But that's a good pickup for the Red Wings. I don't think they're doing as well in free agency as they thought they were going to. Now, they may be still in on Palat. I don't know. But I thought the Red Wings were going to be doing a little bit more damage with Yzerman in free agency. So
because it looks like they just signed David Perrin,
Dominic Kubalik. They got Chicago unqualified restricted free agent that they didn't offer. So they signed him to a 2-year deal. They signed David Perron,
Ben Sherratt.
Yeah, that's he's a good defenseman. That's not a bad pickup.
And Oli Mata, another defenseman.
Yeah, they've gotten better, but that big Goudreau or Palat, signing is not, Kopp is a good one, but they need quality guys, and they had a lot of money. So we'll see if they still snag one or two.
So your landing point for Palat is, I think you said, what, Anaheim?
Well, no, they're in on it.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay more to get him because they're not going to be in a position to compete. So if you're going to go to a loser, you're going to want more money. If you're a player or more term, I could see him going to Detroit. I'm actually a little surprised, that he hasn't been snatched up already. But that may be there may be an active bidding war for his services.
You think, a couple different teams after him.
It could very well be.
What did you say that you're thinking he's going to get?
6 years, $6 million, maybe slightly more. Some were $6.5 million over 6 years. And so that'll take him up to like age 37 at the end. So it'll be bad in the last year or two of that contract, but the first 4 you're getting a really solid deal.
Now, do you think the Lightning are going to try to rework any contracts this year, or are they just going to ride it out?
You can't rework.
You can't rework any contracts?
Nope. That's the thing, that a lot of people who are, newer NHL fans are not that deep, don't understand. The salary cap, you can't play with it. You can't front load years. You can't back load years. You sign the contract that you sign. So no matter how the team pays you, if they pay you, let's say I signed you to a 5-year, $50 million deal, right?
Yep.
And I wanted to pay you $45 million in year 1 and then spread the last $5 million out over the next 2. Every single year, it's a $10 million cap hit over the length of the contract. And there is nothing you can do to change it. Even extending the contract doesn't change the annual hit. So you can't extend them like they did with Cirelli and Sergachev and all them, give them more money, but then build that into there's no games like they play in the NFL in the NHL with the salary cap. The contract is the contract. You take the total term, you take the amount, you divide it, and that's your annual hit. Like Claude Giroux, one of the big signings with Ottawa, who's really making a push here. They've been active in free agency.
The 3-year, $19.5 million.
Yes, but so the first 2 years he gets paid a little more. The second year paid a little. The third year rather paid a little less. But it's irrelevant. You take the average value and you break that up over the 3 years.
Is that the only national is that the only major sport that does that?
NBA has a lot of they've got the bird exemption and they've got a bunch of shit and games that they can play with their salary cap. The only major U.S. league that has a hard, strict salary cap and floor is the NHL. You cannot. The only games you can play with are if you have a guy who's on long-term injured reserve, either injured and can no longer play. Those contracts come off your books. It's technically counts toward your cap, but you get to spend over the cap the same amount that you're paying those guys, and you can trade for those guys. So you could take. You see it often. One team will take a bad contract from another and then give you a guy who's never going to play for you, but you're eating the $7 million a year of his. That's what the Lightning did with Brent Seabrook, and they've been paying $6.875 million for 4 years now on his contract. So they ate $25 million in order to get relief and be able to do more and keep the core intact.
And I know that I think the signing bonus is they can't give they can't give an outlandish signing bonus, isn't it? I can't remember what it was, but it's some certain percentage, I believe, of the contract, but they could give it a signing bonus, correct? Now, does that hit your cap? Is that also divided?
Yeah, it's everything is evenly divided. It doesn't matter what you do, how you do it, how you structure it. None of it matters. It's all counted equally over the life of the contract.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know if you could give them $10 million signing bonus and then you give them, maybe a smaller contract, but you give them that signing bonus. Now, is this from the strike of 05 or 04?
No, they had another one in 12 or 13.
I didn't know. Yeah. Okay. So that's from this pretty much?
Yeah.
12, 13. Okay.
Yeah. This is kind of, what's really killed and what's hurt the Lightning more than anything was COVID, because the salary cap was supposed to go up with revenue as the years went by. Well, COVID crushed the NHL, and because they have such a smaller margin than the other professional leagues, the owners actually had to make a deal with the players where essentially the players were borrowing money from the owners to get paid their full salaries, and they have to pay that back in future years, and the cap, it was agreed, was not going to go up until revenue went up. Now, fortunately, this past season, the NHL reported $5.2 billion, I think, in total league revenue, which is the highest amount ever for the NHL. So they're hitting record revenues. The money that the players, quote unquote, borrowed and have to pay back to the owners, that'll all be completed probably within the next 2 seasons. So by 2024-25 season, we should start to see a significant increase in the cap, which is why next year is really only going to be, in my opinion, the 1 year that the Lightning are really going to have to struggle to fill their roster. I mean, really, they're going to have maybe 7 guys on league minimum type contracts, $1 million contracts, and so their depth is going to get hit. But they'll sign those guys on 1-year deals. They'll look for depth pieces on 1-year deals. Stamkos then comes off the books for 8.5 in 24-25, so they can get him at a lesser number if he wants to stay and they want to keep him. And then the following year, Hedman comes off and he's at 7.5, and so they'll likely be able to get him at a lesser number as well. And so that'll give them more space in addition to and in conjunction with the increase in the cap. And
yes, Jamie Flynn, I believe Pat Maroon is coming back next year. Don't you think?
Maroon's signed.
Yeah. So he asked, and I was pretty much sure he said he had 2 years left on his contract.
Our free agents next year, Alex Killorn, he's likely gone. There's no way the Lightning can afford to bring him back unless he wants to really wants to stay
contract.
Here. Yeah, if he really wanted to stay here, he could.
What's he been here? 7 years?
He's been here quite a while. I think they may have even drafted him. So
I think they drafted him at I think he was 19. What's he now? 29, maybe 10. Is he 30?
He's 32, man.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been with them a long time, but he's $4.45 million this year. They can't justify that for him in the future. Well, not even justify. He can get that potentially, but not from the Lightning. They won't have the space. I mean, not without moving somebody else. So then you've got Nemesnikov, who's on the 1-year deal now. He'll be up. So you can find somebody equivalent to replace him. That wouldn't be a huge loss, especially if you found somebody, $1.5 million, $2 million that you could get and replace him with. The big ones are Ross Colton. He'll be a restricted free agent.
I think they re-sign him. He's not making that much. I know.
Well, he's 1.125 right now. The problem is, he can probably command $3.5 million, a Nick Paul type number, out on the open market with his offensive skill. But I don't think the Lightning will. It'll be tough to see whether or not they have the ability to match that. Now, they can make a tendering offer and then, potentially get a compensatory draft pick or something like that for him if another team re-signs him or signs him after they make an offer, and they can match whatever another team's offering. But that's going to be a tough one. And then Cal Foote, they appear to be set to give him an expanded, more everyday role this season, given the fact that Ruda's moving on and Philippe Myers, has not really shown himself to be a reliable everyday NHL player. So I think Cal Foote's going to be thrust into a position to play a whole lot more. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him and his contract there. And then Cole's only on a 1-year deal. Corey Perry and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare will be up. They'll be, going into their age 39 season come then. And so it'll be interesting to see. They're only making $1 million each right now. But those are the types of contracts that the Lightning are going to have to give out to fill out their roster next season. I mean, they're otherwise they won't be able to field the squad.
You think Brian Elliott comes back?
Yeah, I mean,
he's 37 now.
He'll be going into his year 39. He will not have played a whole lot of hockey the last 2 seasons.
He's kind of just hanging out.
So, if not him, they'll find somebody similar that's looking to be a backup. And you've got Vazzy. He can play 65 regular season games for you.
Well, I just wasn't sure because, like you were saying, with struggling with the salary cap next year for them, and you're saying that they may need that $1 million guy.
Yeah, they're only paying him $900,000 now. So and they re-signed him just so they wouldn't have to deal with it this offseason.
Well, and I don't think there's probably a big market for him either.
No,
he's not going to let go out there and get like that $1-2 million.
Yeah,
so they could probably re-sign him for probably even like that or pay a little cheaper.
And what's happening around the league too, though, is a lot of other teams are getting into these salary pinches, right? So the Lightning's hitting it earlier because they had a more established roster and a core that they are trying to keep together. But other teams are going to be running into this. Like Colorado next year is going to be tapped out for sure, and so there's going to be more and more of these higher end teams that just have no money left. So they'll be able to get some friendly deals on some guys under contract, at least until, the cap starts going up, but then they'll have more space. They'll be much more flexible once Stammer comes off the books at $8.5 million and takes a more realistic number like $5 million a year. That'll give them $3.5 million. I mean, you can get literally another player like Nick Paul or Mason Marchand at that point, that caliber of player to upgrade your roster.
813-90-BUBBA, 813-90-BUBBA. Brian, I just want to jump to baseball here real quick. The Charlie Montoya firing. I liked him when he was with the Rays organization. I think he was with the Rays organization, 18 years? 19 years? One, do you think the firing is justified? And two, is there a chance that Joe Madden makes an AL East return to the Blue Jays?
I think the firing was absolutely justified. Toronto was predicted by many to win the AL East this season. They've struggled. They're losing to teams that aren't very good. They don't have the injury problems that the Rays have. The Rays have an excuse for losing games right now, right?
They do. They're
fucking mash unit.
Besides Kevin Kiermaier, I mean, Franco getting hurt.
I mean, Margot, Franco, Kiermaier, Choi's been injured. Their pitching staff absolutely ravaged. If it wasn't for Shane McClanahan, the Rays probably wouldn't be in playoff contention.
Yeah,
right
they'd
now.
be down with the Orioles. But how crazy is it though? We're coming to the All-Star break, and actually every team is at 500 or above.
That's nuts. You don't see that in Major League Baseball. You don't see that really in other than the NFL in any professional sport where the entire division is 500 or better. Not just 500 or better, and you have a team that's 701 in the Yankees.
They have the best record in Major League.
Yeah. So you've got a division that's absolutely stacked. Every single team in the AL East would be in second place in the AL Central. Every single team would be tied for second or better in the AL Central.
And it's crazy. It's crazy to see that the Orioles, well, I mean, they are on a 9-game winning streak, which helps. But yeah, it's crazy to see the Orioles are going to be pretty much at 500 for the All-Star game.
Well, it screws things up for the Orioles, right? This is not a part of the plan.
Nope.
And they should have been sellers at the trade deadline, and now they've got to look around that stadium there and that team and really evaluate it and say, can we make the playoffs this year? Can we get that experience for these young kids? Are we going to do we have enough product to bring up that's going to be good enough to help us push? So it could take a team that was perceived just 2 weeks ago to be a big seller in the trade deadline and take them completely out of it and maybe even turn them into another buyer.
I mean, look at the Reds right now, winning 5 straight. I mean, they swept the Rays.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive, but they're 21 games, and they came back last night and beat the Yankees. I mean, best team in baseball. They scored 4 runs in the 9th and win 4-3.
And then you got the Rays playing down to them. But I mean, maybe they're just right now on that hot streak. I mean, they beat the Yankees, and that right now, that run differential on the Yankees, 453 to 277, is absolutely insane.
Well, it's not sustainable, right? At some point,
the offense is good though.
At some point, no, the offense is good. The pitching staff is overachieving though, and at some point, they're going to come back down to earth. I mean, they've been. None of their guys have hit a cold spell. I mean, they've been so consistent across the board. They haven't dealt with injuries. They haven't really dealt with much adversity. They've had a few position players slightly banged up. I think Judge has missing a couple of games for a little tweak. They have lost 3 in a row now. So maybe they're hitting their little lull in the season. If the Rays can take the next 2 from Boston, that'll go a long way to getting them back on track.
Yeah. Well, I just popped in my head. I do remember though, going back to the Blue Jays, you did say that their one weak point was not their offense, and it was going to be their pitching. And I mean, you can't really put that on. I don't really think that the Blue Jays went out, and last year that was their problem too, is their pitching. And I'm looking at obviously their run differential is what, 2?
+10.
+10, yeah.
They've given up 391 runs,
exactly,
which is quite a bit. When you've given up 114 more than the Yankees, that means you're giving up over, like 1 1/4 runs more per game. It's hard to win like that.
Now, so I mean, you obviously think it's justified for Charlie to take a hit, but I mean, if your pitching is like underperforming that much and you're relying on your hitting, because I mean, who's their number one? Alek Manoah.
Alex Manoah.
Yeah.
They've got 2 good. They got Ryu and Manoah, right? They have 2 good pitchers.
But I mean, yeah.
No, they do. I mean,
no, I'm saying that's not good.
Typically, that's good enough to do what they're doing. But they've got to get more out of their pitching. They've got to get more out of their players. And, sometimes you got to mix it up. Yeah, Manoah's – oh, no, they lost Ryu. Oh, no, he's there. He's been injured. He only played 6 games for him. That's part of the problem, is Ryu was hurt. Manoah's been good.
And Gossman's been he has a 2.86 ERA.
Yeah, Gossman and Manoah have been good. Stripling has been okay. But yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling. You can't give up that many runs and be a good team in baseball these days. You got to have some level of run prevention.
I mean, like I said, do you think this opens the door for Joe Maddon to come back? I mean, like you said, Joe Maddon now comes to a team that, I mean, the offense is there. He's got a lot of young guys.
I would love Joe Maddon on this roster if I'm the Blue Jays. I don't know. It's a bold move. I don't know if they'll do it. But we'll see. I mean, it's not like the Angels have lit it up since Maddon was let go.
I think, yeah,
they've lost 9 in a row, 5 in a row, and yeah, they haven't been exactly, and they've won 1 out of their last 11, so they haven't been lighting it up. I don't know that Maddon was the problem there, and so maybe you take another look at that. It's not like they came in and all of a sudden, went on an 8-game winning streak, and you're like, oh, see, we definitely should have fired him. I mean, they're not a great ball club.
And then you got, actually, you go down here. If you were since we're pretty much at the All-Star break, and your predictions, have they changed, or are you still seeing the same teams that are pretty much going to make the playoffs and the World Series? Either Astros, Yankees, Dodgers. I mean, Mets are still there too. They're getting some players back. But I mean, right now, is there any team that's surprising you that could make a playoff push?
Well, the Braves,
just at the All-Star
Braves
game.
have come into form, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get Acuna Jr. back at some point, right? Or is he back already?
I think he's not back yet.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I don't think he's back yet.
So that'll be a big bolstering to their lineup, assuming he gets back. I think he's due back this year, right? He's not out for the season, is he?
No, I think he's coming back after the All-Star game is what I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, the Braves, I think, look good. The Mets, I don't have faith in the Mets. Other than that, I mean, come on, it's the Dodgers. They're just so fucking stacked.
He's playing. Chariot said he's playing, and I'm on his page now. Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, and so they've come into form lately. They closed the gap with the Mets. It looked like it was going to be a runaway in that division. They've made it 2.5. Philadelphia's come on, but they recently slipped. I just don't see them, sustaining. I still think, it's really hard for 4 teams from the AL East to make it, but
insane.
I still think it can happen. Chicago is sticking with La Russa. Don't know why. It's fucking stupid. They get what they deserve.
I mean, I don't think they want to make that change right now. I mean, actually, they
Why
could.
wouldn't you? You're fucking 3 games under 500. You're supposed to have had a competitive team, and you're supposed to be competing for a pennant for the last 3 seasons, and you haven't done dick.
Listen, the problem with the Central, though, is that they're only 5.5 games back.
That's not the problem. That's all the more reason to be aggressive. They were 93 and 69 last season, man.
Yeah, well, maybe La Russa's a drinking buddy with the GM and the owner, and maybe he's got him talked into maybe after the All-Star break. Maybe they're going to wait till the 31st to see what they can get in free agency.
I don't know, man. I think that they, you know what you have by this point in the season, right? The Rays know what they have. They just also know that they're fucking injured to high hell. That's why they're not going to be desperate. They're not going to do anything rash. They know they need to shore up their bullpen a little bit, and they could use one more long guy, assuming that, all their guys can't get back healthy. But they know what they have, right? They need a bat. They need a longer reliever, and they need, somebody who can help close out games and hold in high-pressure situations. But that's going to be everybody who's a contender.
Exactly. Well, I know it's not going to happen, but after we take 7-3-2, tell me Kevin Kiermaier, and I know no one's going to take him, but please tell me they're going to trade him or get rid of him.
Well, not especially now that he's got a hip issue and may have surgery. I don't think so.
7-3-2.
Hey, what's up, Lummy? It's Alan.
What's up, Alan?
Hey, I'm a little bit behind, but you guys were talking about the NHL contracts.
Yeah.
So, Brian, I think you're probably familiar with it. I think they changed the rule after the Devils did that really weird, manipulative Kovalchuk contract where they signed him to like 17 or 18 years for like $102 million, and every year at the end was like the league minimum. And I think that's when they changed it at the new CBA.
Yeah, they want it to be truly competitive and balanced, and that's what it's all about. So,
what year was that, Alan?
Probably I would say it was probably like early 2000s, 2003, 2004. Look up Andre Kovalchuk. He signed up. It was like the biggest deal in the history of the NHL. 17 years, $102 million, I believe.
Kovalchuk. Are you on that, Brian?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Well, Brian's going to fact check you there, Alan from Cincinnati. Big Cincinnati Reds fan there, buddy?
Yeah, it was a 17-year deal in 2010.
Oh, so yeah. So it was probably right at like
$102 million deal, ending a 3-week courtship that included offers. The Devils will absorb an annual cap hit of $6 million, the average amount per season. However, he remains on the books through the 2026-2027 season.
Jeez.
He'll earn $6 million each of the next two, 11.5 the following 5, 10.5 in 18, 8.5 in 19, 6.5 in 20, 3.5 in 21, $750 the following season, and $550 in the final 5 years of the unprecedented deal. So,
yeah, I think that's when their new CBA came up. That's when they switched everything to what you were saying, Brian.
Yeah, it stopped that. I think it was after like the 2012-13 season or whatever it was when they had a little bit of a lockout, and this was one of the issues. But it stops it. It stops cap manipulation. Rather than having dead money on the books, and you can't really borrow from future years. That's the bottom line.
And then I'm not going to bore everybody, but when I was talking to you last week, Lummy, I forgot to tell you one thing when we were talking about the live golf thing. And Brian, you'll love this. If they do go to a situation, it looks like it's going to go to court. I think the PGA might get stuck in the same situation that the NFL did back in the day with the original USFL. And this is a great story, and you can look it up. It was published in a book about 2 years ago. The story,
the USFL one,
when the USFL did the antitrust lawsuit,
where they get
they won, but they only awarded $1, and John Mara, the owner of the Giants, walked over and handed it to Trump in the courtroom because they hated him so much on the stand.
They actually wrote a check for the $1, and that's actually a famous check.
They got it one of the USFL guys
one of them's got it. Look, what the PGA Tour is doing is exactly what the Department of Justice is telling them. It's interfering, anti-competitive behavior, and it shouldn't be happening. I don't care who's backing LIV or any organization that's competing with the PGA. These players are independent contractors. If you're going to say that they're employees, then you need to treat them as such. If they're independent contractors, you cannot say if you work for anybody else, you can never come back here. That's not an independent contract situation. And so that's the issue from a legality standpoint, is it's anti-competitive behavior. And it shouldn't be happening. Look, you can think what you want about Liv. The marketplace will decide whether or not Liv lives or dies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But then you got Tiger Woods making these disingenuous comments. Tiger Woods never struggled a day in his fucking life for money, right? As an adult.
Nope.
You've got golfers that are making more in one weekend than they made in entire years in their past. And to begrudge them for going and taking that money, I mean, our government is actively dealing with the Saudi government on military issues and a variety of other things, oil
allies.
and everything. They are our nation's allies. You can think about them what you want. You can boycott the players if you want, but they're not doing anything illegal. And so if they want to chase the money, that's their choice. They won't have sponsorships. They'll lose out on that, but they want and did you see the video from their private jet?
Yeah, that plane. Woo!
Oh, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. And let me tell you, I know a lot. I've done work with the PGA Tour and everything, and they are like really, really, really strict with, and they're almost like curmudgeons with what happens when you do stuff, even with a player. And like, if you need to go if we're doing like something private with him and his family, and we want to shoot his wife on the course, even though we film it, we then have to turn it over. Then we have to relicense it from them, and then they let us know if we can even use it in a show.
Yeah, they're
So
very
they're really
controlled.
not. They're not independent contractors.
No, I know, and that's the point, right? Then you need to treat them differently, and they need to have collective bargaining, and there needs to be negotiation on purses, and because now all of a sudden you've got a different dynamic there, and that's the larger point, and that's the point of the DOJ is that, which ironically I think is happening due to pressure from the Saudis. I'm sure that there have been conversations with Biden's administration and the Saudis saying, look, help us with the PGA so that Liv has a fighting chance, and we'll work on OPEC and releasing more oil and helping ease things at the pump for Americans.
Oh, there you go.
I have no doubt in my mind those conversations took place.
Well, let me ask you with Liv, right? You really think, let's say Liv shuts down in 2 years, right? That if the players are good enough, do you really think the PGA would keep those guys out?
No, eventually they'll forgive them and bring them back.
Exactly. So, I mean, they're really going to ban them for life because they joined a different organization?
Well, that's the point, though. You can't do that. I mean, I understand if you're a contractor and you hired a drywall guy and you don't like him and you decide not to hire him again. But if you're a monopoly, which the PGA Tour is in America, they are a sports monopoly, and you are the only contractor in town, and then you prevent your employee from working from an independent contractor, not even an employee, from working for the only other one that's emerging, that is anti-competitive behavior. It's a lot different than saying, I don't like that guy, I'm not hiring him again to work for me, or I hate the company he's going to work for now, I don't want to deal with him anymore, and he's got 100 other companies to choose from. There's one PGA Tour. There's one professional golf organization in America, and that's it. And if you can't play there, you can't play anywhere. And so when they're telling these guys, we're not letting you back in, even though you've earned it and you deserve it and you have every right to it based upon your past accomplishments, that's wrong.
There you go,
I
Alan.
agree 100% with you, Brian. I mean, I'm on the side of the. I don't think to Lummy's point, I don't think Liv is going to run out of money in 2 years. I think they're at the point right now where they're going to just try to shove it right up their ass to get what they want to do and allow these guys to get back and play globally wherever they want.
Yeah, I mean, look, once they get that TV contract, they don't really need it with the Saudis, but I mean, then it's going to I think it's going to start running itself if they can get that big TV contract.
It's pretty fun. I love the people in chat. They're not a monopoly. You guys don't know what a monopoly is. Anybody can go start another steel company. There were still steel monopolies back in the day. Dolts. Come on.
Well, look what happened when they broke up U.S. Oil. I mean, the same people still owned all of the companies that it broke into. I mean, it didn't really change.
Yeah, well, they weren't really trying. That's called the appearance of competition, but versus actual competition. There's certain industries where there won't be competition, either because of the nature of the industry or because the players in the industry are powerful enough that they don't allow for competition.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Love the show. Have a great day.
Work on getting that Rolex Sedan. Kyle Kokak, 200 stars. Thank you, Alan from Cincinnati. With the so do you think that one contract must have been around the time that they just changed the whole thing up? That's crazy. No one ever talks about that either. It must be because of golf. 17 years. What was it? 17 years, 102 million?
It wasn't golf. It was hockey.
Sorry, hockey. Well, then he went from hockey to golf to.
Yeah, it was a 17-year, $102 million deal.
That's insane.
It's also that they could get, that spread it out so long. But now the maximum term, I think, is 8 years. You can't sign a player for longer than an 8-year term.
Because they don't have options either, right?
What's that?
They don't have the option where it's the team. Do they have club option on that?
No, not 8 years is the maximum contract. They become an unrestricted free agent after 8 seasons at most. That's why when you look at the 3 contracts the Lightning gave out today, they were all 8 years.
Now back to Kevin Kiermaier. It's kind of surprising because the Rays have always been known for knowing when to get rid of a player. And in my opinion, and it's not popular, it's a 50-50 opinion between Rays players, but I think that they should have got rid of Kiermaier probably in 19. Yeah, he was still $8 million a year. He was still he was really good. He was getting hurt, but he still had his glove was where it needed to be. He's probably batting 230, 240.
That's the problem though. Is he wasn't producing at the plate enough to justify the contract. That's the issue. I mean, he didn't have the open market value that he would have if he was just hitting 260 and getting on base a whole bunch. He just has this bailout swing, he has the worst swing in baseball. I mean, terrible. He just bails out of every single swing.
Well, he's trying to get that head start to first. Or he just tries to crush the ball.
No, he's swinging way too hard.
That's what I'm saying. He's just trying to crush it. Yeah. And then the times that he kind of tries to.
I mean, he has hit 7 home runs this year, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah, 7 home runs.
For him,
that's good for
career,
12 million.
His watermark is 15 back in 17. So
he's pretty much going to be right around 10 probably, unless he's out for the whole year with his hip.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making 12 million. Look, good thing is next year they have a club option, but
they're going to buy him out. I mean, it's a $2.5 million buyout.
Yeah, next year
there's 0% chance Kevin Kiermaier suits up for the Rays next season. 0.
I hope not. He for the last 2-3 years. I think he's the last 3 years he's made $30 million,
33, 34 million. Yeah.
Jeez.
The time you're right though. The time to get rid of him was in 19. But they overpaid for him. I mean, at the time they locked him up in 17 or whatever it was.
But they gave him that typical Rays contract where they backloaded it, and that's usually the time that they dump him. Like most players, when they hit that 29-30 mark, they dump him.
Yeah, they ran into a situation where his offensive numbers just weren't there to justify him. Anybody having significant interest in him. I mean, since 17, he hit 217, 228, 217, and for very little power. You can live with those numbers if a guy's hitting 25 home runs a year.
Oh yeah, and playing good defense.
Yeah, well he is playing good defense
when he's playing.
Yeah, when he's playing, when he hasn't been hurt. But he's played 98 games in 2017, 88 games in 2018, 129 in 19. 122 and 21, and he's looking like he might play 80 or 90 this year if he's lucky.
Yeah, if his hip holds up.
So he'll get his $2.5 million buyout. The Rays will be done with him, and then maybe they can actually go out on the open market and sign somebody real this offseason.
Yeah. Oh, well, they were in that Freddie Freeman.
Supposedly.
Do you believe that though?
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't have any reason to think that they weren't in on him. They were in on the guy from Chicago, the Cubs, the Japanese guy that was blowing up this season, early on in the season too. But they just those guys aren't going to come play for a team like the Rays where there's no endorsement deals. Like where do they get their money for being a big name guy in Tampa Bay? It doesn't happen.
I can't believe we're still paying Evan Longoria.
Yeah, they had to take part of his contract.
I didn't know we were. I didn't know we signed him for that long. I thought we gave him a 10-year contract.
Nah, I think that they maybe have extended him at some point.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
We're still paying him $5 million?
Yeah, they ate a lot of that contract with San Francisco.
Oh, we did give him in 2016.
Yeah. They extended him right before they traded him, which is stupid.
Yeah, because that's another one that it just dumbfounds me. But
yeah.
Were you an Evan Longoria fan?
I liked him when he was here and, before he started running into the roid issues.
Oh, okay. You heard the same thing.
Well, I didn't hear. No, I never heard that he was juicing. When you have a guy who has so many core injuries like he was having, that's almost always in baseball because of steroids.
Well, I had a conversation with a couple of people. I think it was the year he got hurt, and you just saw then he just started going for power. It was around the time.
Was 15?
No, it was before that.
Oh,
I think it was like his third or fourth season in. And a couple of people said there were rumors going around that he got on the juice after his first injury. Like I think he had I forgot what it was. His first injury may have been his wrist or something.
11. He got a little dinged up in 11, and then 2012 was the bad one, and that was the core injury that he could not come back from.
Yeah,
and then you saw his power numbers. I mean, he was hitting for power though before then. Not a lot changed for him. It's a rumor. Who knows?
I don't know. He started getting a lot of weight. But that
I think guys fill in though as they get older.
No, but it was around that 2011
Look at you.
year.
You gained a lot of weight since 2011.
Yeah, but it's fat. He has muscle. But no, I think it was that 2011 year because he was coming off his 2010 year, which was pretty good. And then I think he started it in 11, and that's when he started having the core problems in 12. Because if you look at his 2010 numbers, he had 22. His 11, what was it, 31, 244, and then in 12 is when he got hurt. But whatever, he's washed up and lives out west.
I mean, he actually bounced back a little bit the last few seasons and
juice.
Yeah, I mean, but he's definitely done now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's he's not putting up anywhere near the numbers that he has over the course of his career. He's done. But these contracts, especially guaranteed baseball contracts, they don't age well. And he'll finally be done with the $5 million buyout they'll pay him next year. So that's good news for him.
Yeah, no, I when I saw that, I was kind of dumbfounded by that.
It's kind of crazy though, that the Rays paid, $14.5 million not to have him anymore after 2018. That's
I can only imagine who we could have gotten. But I mean, look, that's Stu can put that in his back pocket about how much he spends money.
He's quickly becoming my least favorite owner in sports. Him and Dan Snyder, right?
Oh yeah, of course Dan Snyder. You like Jerry Jones?
I like that Jerry Jones puts his money into the team, into his franchise. I like that Jerry Jones wants to produce a winner. I don't like that Jerry Jones interferes so much that he prevents his team from being a winner. But I would take an owner like Jerry Jones over somebody like Stu Sternberg or Daniel Snyder.
I don't know. I think Stu Sternberg is probably one of the worst.
Oh,
that guy's raking in so much money. I know, that's what I'm saying. He's raking. He is one of. Once I started working there and started finding out just how much money he was making, and how much he'll sprinkle a little bit. Oh, look, I put $6 million into the stadium.
He should
have put $80 million into the stadium.
Here's the deal. I would be okay with coming up with some sort of tax dollar financing for the stadium, but the team has to open its books completely. That's the deal.
He won't do that.
I know. But here's the thing. No owner would. So you want us to finance it, right? Mm-hmm. We'll do it. It'll be based upon what we pay each year under the deal for a stadium will be based upon your books. So open your books. Let's see your profit. And if it, based upon how much you're making is how we'll finance the stadium. Not an owner in sports would ever want to stay in a city that did that. And that tells you everything you need to know about these fucking scumbag billionaires who just take and take and take, and the stupid cities that just give and give and give it to them. All to keep a team present, which guess what? There's only so many markets they can go to. Topeka, Kansas isn't building them a stadium.
No, Nashville's trying to make that big push.
Like
but
Buffalo, the NFL probably could survive in a few other locations. They can get back in St. Louis, and they probably have a few more markets that are available to them than other sports leagues. By nature of their business, the fact that there's only 8 or 9 home games, it creates a little bit of a different situation in terms of supply and demand. But baseball, and they need major cities, man. They couldn't survive in mid-level, market 20, 42, 25, 30. They're not surviving in those media markets.
See right here, I was looking for who the worst owners in the game, and Stu's not even on this list. They got Diamondbacks, A's, Pirates, Marlins, Orioles.
Because they
win, I know.
And it's not because of him. It's because of the front office guys know what the fuck they're doing. They're all they've got the formula, and yeah, that's partially him because he brought in his boys, but they've made it work, and that's why. And they've had an exceptional farm system, and they've gotten really, really lucky. I shouldn't use the word lucky. They've had a lot of trades work out really, really well for them.
Yeah, and early on in the franchise, they had a lot of trades that did not work well, but that was obviously before Stu.
Yeah.
But Eat More Coleslaw, I don't think likes your Monopoly talk.
Well, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's why. But that's okay. It's okay. If he wants to continue to be angry and ignorant, that's his choice. He's allowed to.
Buccaneers have a monopoly on professional football in Tampa. Let's get the feds involved and show these assholes who's boss.
Yeah.
He's a fellow USF alumni, Brian.
That's fine. He can be a USF alumni and still be ignorant on an issue. I mean, that doesn't change that. I'm not besmirching him as a human being. I'm just saying he doesn't understand the meaning of monopoly and anti-competitive behavior as it relates to a monopoly, and that's fine. He shouldn't have to know that.
813-90 BUBBA. What's your feelings on the All-Star? I kind of have my feeling.
Are you talking about the PBA All-Star that's coming up, where they do the strike competition and all of that?
Are they
Pro Bowlers Association?
Yeah,
the 2022 All-Star?
No, the big.
I'm
big
excited
one.
for that. Norm Duke, baby. Watch out.
Oh, yeah?
No, he's too old to compete with these young guns now.
With the two-handed spin on it now?
Yeah. The Dr. Dan cheating bowler method.
Oh, that's the way everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty surprised on Dr. Dan's bowling with this two-handed.
Yeah.
I thought he was just going to watch a YouTube video and go out there, but he actually was pretty good.
He was decent. Little inconsistent, but
that's
you got to bowl a lot.
Yeah. Especially with the two-handed.
Yeah.
Because you got to know exactly what's where to release it, you always got to hit your mark, and you got to have the same speed.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you have to be very consistent.
Yeah. No, the MLB. Well, hold on. Let me just get this call. They've been waiting. 863.
What's up, fellas? I got a question for both of you kind of at the same time, and then I got one thing to say to you, Lummy, after we're done.
Right.
First, it's track meet, by the way. And the question is, like, when you watch baseball, sometimes you watch a pitcher and you almost get excited just to watch that pitcher. You know what I mean? Like, you don't like baseball, it's kind of boring. But then you watch it, and there's like a pitcher like Randy Johnson sticks out in my head from back in the day. But when you used to watch him, who gets you guys excited to go watch that guy pitch?
Shane McClanahan right now for the Rays.
Former USF player.
He is the real deal. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. Should absolutely be starting the All-Star game.
Yep.
If they're this season, he's the pitcher, right? In the past, Kershaw's been one of those guys who's been electric and makes you want to watch.
Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer.
I like his intensity.
What makes it so interesting? Yeah, because some of them guys, they just get so into it, man. I just liked Randy because he was just so tall and lanky, and he'd stretch that thing out, fire it in there.
John Rocker.
But anyways,
yeah.
He was wild. He had an attitude.
A little bit, a little racist. That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
A little anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
that's okay.
His whole career went downhill after that. No, listen. What makes it fun and interesting? Like, I don't know. The guy literally being able to control the strike zone, and these guys cannot hit pitches when nowadays they just have so many reports. I watched last weekend the Kerry Wood 20 strikeout game. I watched every strikeout. They showed every pitch and everything, and the way he just worked it. I mean, watching that, like, I've seen it probably 50, 60 times. He was my favorite player back in the day. And it was it's exciting to watch. The movement on the baseball, these good hitters, and the way the game has changed nowadays, and they're just, getting the ball by it. I mean, the game right now is not favored to the pitchers.
Real quick, is that why you call the strap-on carry that Ashley uses on me?
And I'll
Hey,
get out of
Ashley,
here, guys.
can you
The
give
other
me
thing
some
was,
of that good carry wood tonight?
Yeah, Kerry Wood, bring it. Bring this team like he did against the Astros in '98.
I want you 20 pumps.
Yeah.
One for each strikeout.
Late strike. I'm gonna hold the K's up. No, but I mean, like, it's just watching that Dick Bryan, watching that just the movement and everything. You know, watching someone dominate.
Yeah, Kirk Schilling was a fun guy when he was not trying to do video games and get political.
and have a fake bloody
before my
sock.
time.
Yeah,
Kurt Schilling was
Hey,
before
man,
your time.
the last
Roger
thing I'll get out
Clemens. Roger Clemens.
Yeah, he
I
was
remember
good.
Roger Clemens. I didn't watch it. Wasn't he Rockies or something?
The Rockets. The Rocket.
No, the Rocket was his nickname.
Yeah.
He was the Astros and the Yankees and the Red
That's
Sox.
what it was. I was about to say something like that. I knew it had something to do with Rocky. But I'm going to shoot up to the casino, Lummy, tonight. My dad passed away. I'm going to go for his funeral tomorrow and just remember him a little bit. So we'll be there if you want to come. Brian, you're more than welcome to come. I'll buy you guys around. Just saying I'll be there.
I'm sorry to hear that,
sorry
man.
to hear that. You should.
Yeah, it's all right. Everybody knows it's coming. It just sucks when it does.
Yep.
Well, go play
Yep.
some blackjack. There's some good stuff up there.
I might shoot it out for you, but I'm more of a 3-card poker kind of guy myself. I kind of like that 3-card, you know what I mean, just chance to hit that bonus.
Yeah,
Done
that
it
takes a
once
lot of your
or
money
twice.
very fast. I've learned that multiple times.
Yeah, you're much better off playing that at like Silks or Derby Lane, where you can get $5 a hand rather than.
I did Derby Lane.
$5 a spot.
Existed.
Yeah.
I really didn't even know Derby Lane was still a thing, man.
Yeah, it's right in Tampa.
They're open 24 hours on the weekends. They don't close because their table
man.
games are packed.
Oh,
How far is that
so is
from
the
the
Greyhound.
casino?
Which one? Derby Lane? Oh, well, they got Greyhound
yeah.
too.
Derby Lane's about 40 minutes from the casino.
But then you
It's
got
a
the
bit-
one on
You got to go
Bush.
across the bridge, don't you?
Yeah, you got to go across the bridge.
But
The,
you could
the-
go- you
the
could go
risk
to
of the
the shit
DUI increases significantly if you're drinking at the Hard Rock. Don't go driving over to Derby Lane.
Yeah, well, you
No,
could go to
I don't pound it when I
you could go to the one by right off 275, on Bird Street, the Tampa Greyhound.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a little older, little
Yeah,
shittier.
It's not. Yeah.
I mean, they still for some reason have the dog track up that hasn't been open since I think the 90s. But
Oh, man. Well, y'all have a good one, man. I'm going to listen to y'all's show. It's better than listening to me.
thank you. Have a good one.
So real quick, eat more coleslaw. The Major League Baseball, NFL, they are monopolies in U.S. sports. If there was a competing organization and they flat out said, if any of our players go and sign with the USFL or the XFL, they will never be allowed back in the NFL, then that's where the anti-competitive behavior comes in. Monopolies in and of themselves are not completely disallowed. It's just that there's certain behaviors that a company that has a monopoly has to engage in order to not be anti-competitive. I know it's counterintuitive, but that's the way it works.
So eat more coleslaw. Do you understand? And if you want, 813-90-BUBBA. Brian loves taking the calls that are, opposing views.
I don't mind but you got to come correct. You got to come with some facts and some correctness.
Erectness?
Correctness, not erectness.
I thought you said erectness.
Yeah,
It's like, Brian, geez. I got Kerry
Wood. You got Kerry Wood on the mind.
Yeah, I know.
man.
I mean, I thought you were talking
You're
about
all
that,
flapped up
you were,
now.
You were real interested in the, penis pump and everything. So
Your prolapsed anus is excited and puckering.
it is. I'm just so excited right now. The seat's wet. All right. The All-Star game coming up. Are you a fan of that? Or are you just like, it's completely worthless and I won't watch the home run
All-Star
derby?
game itself, I don't. I enjoy the home run derby. I don't enjoy the All-Star game itself.
Now, what do you think about them letting Albert Pujols?
Absolutely, it's a meaningless game.
Do you know there's a little uproar on that?
Fuck them. Go fuck yourself. That's what I say. Guess what? It's the league's All-Star game. They want to have him play, then he plays. You don't like it? Don't fucking watch. There's your end of discussion on that, right?
Do you think he'll juice up a little bit before?
I hope so. Make it more interesting.
Now, when I heard that Red actually told me, he's like, "Oh, did you see they're bringing a veteran?" He said bring him back. So I'm like, what are they bringing back like Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, like that? But I mean, Albert Pujols is still in the league, so I don't see it being a problem. I just can't believe that so many people are complaining about it. I mean,
I hadn't really heard anybody complain. Where are you? What circles are you running in where people are complaining about this?
I guess you could just say social media.
Oh,
yeah, that's the whole thing.
Well, everybody's fucking complaining on social media. I could post that I love Snickers, and people would fucking find something controversial about it. I'm being insensitive to people with nut allergies, or oh, obesity's nothing to laugh about, or oh, that's not real sensitive to diabetics. Fuck all of you. That's all I say.
Yeah, because some people, their big complaint is that Albert Pujols is taking that that experience away from another player. Which, I mean...
And my notes here say, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
That player who doesn't now have to go there, go enjoy your 4 days off, dummy. I don't want to make the fucking all-star game. Fuck that. Let me have a vacation in the middle of the season. That's what I want.
I mean, if it's your first one and you're, like, young...
I get it, but you know
But if
what?
it's your 12th all-star game...
Is he really taking a spot from somebody,
No, it's the all-star game.
Is he really?
I mean, no, it's a home run derby.
Didn't they just add a spot for him? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Come on.
I think one guy turned it down, Jock Peterson.
Okay, well, there you go.
And, yeah,
He doesn't care, and it's only like his third or fourth.
It's his fourth.
Yeah. Well,
now, so you're a fan of the home run derby?
Yeah, I do enjoy the home run derby. I enjoy, you know what I used to love watching back in the day was like when they would do the off-season home run derby in like the 60s with Hank Aaron in the 60s and 70s. Like they had, Mickey Mantle versus Hank Aaron, and there would be TV shows with it. Did you remember watching that on ESPN?
No, I've
you never
seen that.
saw those?
No, I was going to say, are they on YouTube now?
Dude, they gotta be. They are awesome. They're awesome.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I remember the NFL guys, but I've never seen that baseball ones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking to me that you, as such a big sports fan, aren't aware of this. But yeah, they used to have like awesome, like Willie Mays versus Mickey Mantle in home run derby.
I definitely am going to have to check that out because I was actually going to say, I wish that
Yeah, like here's season 1, episode 1, Mantle versus Mays. Then they had Mantle versus Banks, Killebrew versus Mantle.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome. Aaron versus Kaline, and they're sitting there. They'll interview with these guys and talk to them. It was before players weren't as available as they are in this day and age, but they had that was great, man. They would do it 3 weeks in December of like 1959, 1960. They filmed this series, and ESPN used to play it all the time. And Gil Hodges versus Willie Mays, and
I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, they're good watches, man.
813.
And the exciting thing is you don't know how they turn out, so it's like
exactly.
new to
So
you.
I'm gonna be like, oh man, look at that sweet swing.
Yeah, they were awesome.
813.
Lemmy,
What's up?
Babyface, what's happening?
Good. How's it going?
So I'm listening to you guys talk about pitchers, great pitchers to watch, and I didn't hear nobody mention Nolan Ryan. When I was a kid, he was my favorite pitcher to watch. I just read a stat on him not that long ago where the batter has rushed the mound 26 times in Nolan Ryan's career, which means he's 26-0 on beating a batter's ass.
Yeah, and his last one was
That's
Robin
what
Ventura.
he's known for.
Yeah, Robin Ventura got busted open with that.
That's what I know Robin Ventura for. I don't even think of baseball. I think of Nolan Ryan beating that ass.
Yeah, the pummeling him. I mean, yeah, Nolan Ryan, you could put in there. I mean, when I was growing up, he was on the Rangers, and
yeah, he was. You got to remember, like his last season was 91, 92. Lummy and I are a little younger.
Well, I mean, I'm 42. I saw him as a kid, and that's what made him interesting to me. Is even when I was a kid, he was already old and still dominating and still beating ass on the mound, on the pitcher's mound.
I didn't realize Cat Williams was such a Nolan Ryan fan. This is awesome.
Cat Williams, is that you? Just call me Cat. My name is Frank, bro.
No, you sound like Cat Williams a little bit.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Well, just like the way your
delivery.
your inflection, your delivery. Yeah. I think his voice might be a little bit higher pitched than yours, but overall, I get a Cat Williams vibe from you.
I swear I'm just being myself right now.
No,
dude.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
You've called in a couple
and
times.
I can't lie, I just got done smoking some weed. So
that probably helps you sound more like Cat Williams, I gotta say.
He likes smoking
all right.
weed.
Well, hey, I'll be making sure to call the Gold Club tonight to let them know Cat Williams will be arriving.
There you go.
Cat Williams is in town.
There you go, man. Well,
hey, you guys
thanks
take
for
care.
calling.
Great
Yeah, Nolan
show.
Ryan was a badass.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan was good. You know what I was thinking of, which would be good. They probably would never do it, but you know how I think it'd be interesting if they did, maybe even during the same time as a home run derby, would be bring back the retired players.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Like,
that would be fun. ESPN did that, and they still do like the celebrity softball challenge.
Yeah,
and
but I'm not
things
saying
like that.
softball. I'm talking about baseball.
No, I know, but I enjoy that too. To me, that's more interesting and fun than the All-Star Game. To me, the All-Star Game is such an anticlimactic waste to the whole weekend that the home run derby is way more fun. The softball challenge is way more fun. They should do like a skills challenge too, like where the players got to throw and hit small targets and stuff like that.
Like the Japanese league?
Like the NHL does. I mean, the NHL's All-Star Weekend is a lot of fun.
Well, the Japanese does like the bunting, then they got to hit the targets. I've watched that on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean,
they do all that skill stuff.
I think it would be more fun to mix it up too, and maybe do like divisions, divisional All-Star teams, and have them compete against the other divisions. Just something different rather than the American League versus the National League. I mean, that's whatever it is, but mix it up.
I know it's supposed to be fun, but sometimes the softball game really pisses me off.
Well, what pisses me off about it is when they're goofing and not taking it seriously. I enjoy it when it's taken seriously. Even if it's not a serious thing, still go out there and show it the respect that it deserves. And
then pretty much and they move the fence-over car in it every time, like a former baseball player, like Cliff Floyd or whoever, literally just jacks it out of there.
Yeah, but still, that part of it's fun too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't mind that. It's when they start like tackling each other and
that's the part that pisses me off. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's the All-Star Game. It's supposed to be fun, but it gets to a point now where the whole weekend is just like it's like almost turning into the Pro Bowl where we're playing 2-hand touch now. Like, did you watch the Pro Bowl this year?
I have no interest in it. First of all, the NFL does it wrong because they do it after the season's pretty much over, right? So, who gives a shit?
The NFL, you mean?
The NFL, yeah. I didn't say that, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, no, I was like NHL, and I'm like,
I thought I said NFL, but I may have missed.
Yeah, no, the one true that, but it's also I had it on because it was really the only thing on that day, and I think I was watching something, on the Super Bowl or ESPN, and they put it on, and it's pretty much 2-hand touch.
Yeah,
and it's horrible. Like they changed all the rules to make it, a lot. Better to watch, and it was horrible.
The skills competition used to be a bigger deal too, with the quarterbacks and hitting targets on golf carts and things like that. That's way more fun. Just focus on the fun aspect of the sport. Don't worry about the game is the game. We take that seriously. We all watch it. We love it. Focus on the fun side of things.
Yeah, and they're not going to get hurt.
That's what the NHL does so well. Is they play a very fun, different, 3-on-3 style. Divisionals rather than conferences. It's a much better product.
So you don't see it ever being from like the 50s and 60s, and actually Bubba Grunt said too, like the All-Star moment where Rose, knocked it off. It's always going to now just be this like
it's always going to nobody's taking it that seriously. And it shouldn't be taken that seriously at this point because the stakes are so high. You injure a player in an all-star game, and you may have just cost him $100 million in his career, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I don't. I have no problem with it being not hokey, but fun, right? I don't want corny. I don't want guys fake tackling each other and that stupid stuff. I want it to be fun. Come up with a fun idea. Present a new product. Give us something different to consume rather than a watered-down version of a game that nobody's taking seriously.
I don't think I don't think we're ever going to get an all-star game.
In Tampa? If they get a new stadium, they'll almost assuredly get awarded an all-star game. Like, if that's almost a given.
It's
that's
given,
a trade-off.
But it's like kind of, I feel like we're just never going to have one. I just don't think we're going to get a stadium. I feel like something's going to happen. It's going to drag out like Oakland. Because when's the lease up in St. Pete? It's coming close.
2026?
Yeah. Well, how long does it take to build a baseball stadium?
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have are they even closer? Have you heard anything?
They're starting to feel a little bit of heat with it. Yeah. And they're looking back over on the St. Pete side.
No, don't say that.
No, I did say it.
Where, at Tropicana? Like the parking lots?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
So we're pretty much going to build a new stadium.
Here's the problem. Sternberg, his greed, he wants that redevelopment money. So he's going to do everything he can now. If Tampa's not going to gift him a stadium, and Major League Baseball isn't going to let Montreal and Tampa gift him 2 stadiums, then his consolation prize is St. Pete helping to gift him a stadium and giving him redevelopment money from the Trop.
I don't even think it
and
would
then
work.
he will sell as soon as he has a stadium in place. A couple years later, he will sell the franchise.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like the Miami owner.
Yeah.
He got his stadium. What did he sell it a year later?
Yeah.
And he stacked up he racked up that huge payroll with all those players, and then sold the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terrible.
But we're right, man. Even if they put it over the bridge, it wouldn't work. Like if they put it a Toyland.
No, I still think they need to build an island like they did in Dubai and have it in the middle where you can access it by ferry from either side of the bay.
Perfect.
Still think that would be awesome. Baseball island.
That wouldn't cost a lot. I think we should do it.
I mean, it'd be awesome. You would, as a novelty, people would want to go to it.
Yeah. You get like those big, you just dredge it all up deep and you. Just
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the environmental. Well, one, the cost, and then two, the environmental issues with it. But it would be amazing. The other problem is, one major hurricane and the stadium's gone. Yeah. It works better in Dubai where they don't get hurricanes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, now last thing on the All-Star game too. Have they announced the starter of
No.
Are you sure that
but everybody is convinced with with the Astros going that it's going to be Verlander. But it absolutely, barring a disastrous performance tonight, 100% should be Sugar Shane.
Is that your nickname for him, or is that
That's his nickname.
Is it?
Yeah, Sugar Shane McClanahan.
Oh, that actually, I thought you maybe made that up. I was going to give you a lot of credit for it.
Well, I knew it. How about that? How do I get credit for knowing his nickname?
Oh, yeah, 100%, man.
He had the nickname Sugar all the way back when he was with USF.
Oh.
And I'm familiar of him with his time at USF. He was not quite the pitcher he is now. He definitely, he was a good pitcher. He always had electric stuff, and you knew he was going to be something. But he's definitely, the Rays took him to the next level.
I think he was only in the minor leagues for 1 year?
1.5 seasons. Yeah. Yeah, he worked his way up quickly, but he was also a junior. They drafted him as a junior from USF, so he was older when he got into the league.
Well, since we're counting down here, we talked about it a little bit before the show. Was that top 10 from the owners, scouts? Who else was it? There was 3
execs.
Owners, yeah.
Scouts and coaches.
Now, have you looked at the list?
So Lummy is referring to the top 10 quarterbacks. They're doing each position on ESPN. So they spoke with 50 executives, coaches, and scouts and asked them to rank their top 10. I've looked at the list.
Yeah,
I disagree with it slightly in a few spots.
Who do you disagree with?
So, one, I disagree with. I would have Stafford right now at number 4, Brady at number 5, and Burrow at number 6. The guy just won a Super Bowl.
Have a drop in Brady down that much, huh?
No, I think that's where Brady should be at this point in his career. I also think that Derek Carr.
Of course, you're going to say Derek Carr
should be ahead of Dak Prescott. He should be number 10. 100% on that. And Deshaun, I think he's appropriate for where he is given his situation. But I think when he does start playing again, he'll be a top 3 quarterback.
I'm a little disappointed that maybe for honorable mention, they should have put Kirk Cousins over Kyler Murray. I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than a lot of people will give him credit for.
Yeah, but they had him on there also receiving votes, so he was there. Yeah,
I see him. Okay,
so he would have been like the 14th overall.
I don't know if I agree with Deshaun just from him not playing. I do agree after this year if he comes out, but not playing.
But are you going to just ignore what he did before this past season when he was out? Like, let's say instead of being out because of a scandal, he was out because he tore his ACL. If he was going to be a top 4 quarterback at that time, and then now you drop him all the way down to 9, aren't you being punitive enough?
Yeah, but then you look at Lamar. Look at Lamar's done in the past.
What? Not as a quarterback. He's a very mediocre quarterback. Oh. And his receiving core this year is a joke. He's in big trouble this season.
I'm saying this year, but
he's on his way out of Baltimore.
I'm a little surprised too. I know he's getting a little older, but Matt Ryan not being in there either.
Oh, no. After his last 2 seasons, you can't have him in the top 10?
Oh, come on.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Look.
Okay, fine. Then we'll put him in like a little honorable mention. But
yeah,
I
he's
think
15th. I would put him. Are you going to put him ahead of Cousins? Are you going to put him ahead of Murray?
Not Cousins, but
Are
ahead
you
of
going to
Murray.
put him ahead of Carr? Get out of town.
Well, listen, I know you and Derek Carr have a love fest for each other. I'd probably
That's
put
what
Matt
I
Ryan.
named my strap on.
You're just Derek Carr. I'm Kerry Wood.
Yeah.
Nice. Back the car in. I'd put him ahead of.
He drives down the Hershey Highway.
I'd put him ahead of Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely. Derek Carr? 100%.
No, fuck no. Matt Ryan.
Oh, yeah, and Derek Carr.
Well, no, I think Derek Carr's going to have a big year, and I do think Derek Carr's a good quarterback.
If you want to win a Super Bowl, do you build your team around Lamar Jackson or Derek Carr now? Yeah, okay. So you've got him ahead of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I'd put Lamar Jackson underneath Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins. I think Lamar Jackson is definitely lost a step. Like you said, he's also coming off a pretty bad year, and he has no wide receiver crew.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hold the lack of wide receivers against him, but there's another quarterback who doesn't have a lot of wide receivers. It's, I think, number 1 on this list.
I think his name's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He did have one of the best wide receivers in the land, but they
still have him at number 1 right now, even though...
No, I was talking about the guy Bubba mentioned.
Oh, Jake Cumho?
Yeah, Bubba member was going to bet $10 that he guarantees him signing soon.
He did bet me $10 that he would at least be in camp with the Packers this season.
Yeah, well, when Aaron Rodgers changed his number, and there's no way for him to get a hold of him, because you think the Packers would have jumped all over, Aaron Rodgers' favorite wide receiver.
Well, the guy who's the linchpin, the reason why the Packers, and this, look, I'll say this: Aaron Rodgers is only the number 1 quarterback on this list based upon regular season play. If you account for playoffs, Brady's number 1.
Yeah, but I mean, you put Brady down to 5 now.
Yeah, regular season, like a whole body of season. But if I'm talking about winning in the playoffs right now and performance in the playoffs, Rodgers is down at 5.
Well, we put regular season and
Rodgers down at 7.
Oh, where would you put Josh Allen?
Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I mean, that game that he had against Kansas City, they didn't lose it because of Josh Allen.
No. Tell me, would you put Josh Allen in the top 2?
I think Josh Allen is appropriate right where he is right now. I may actually, you know what? I would put Brady up to 4 and Allen down to 5.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's more appropriate.
And you like Joe Burrow, where he's at pretty much?
I like it until I can see 2 years of it, right? Like, you had a really good year, and it's the same thing with Herbert. That's why Herbert's buried. He had a really good rookie year. He didn't quite progress the way we would have thought that he would have last year. And so I think I think one day he'll be a top. He's going to be 1A or 1B in terms of quarterbacks, Herbert.
Some people are thinking he has a chance to run for the MVP this year.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, last year was 5,000 yards, 38 TDs.
I think every starting quarterback has a chance.
No, but they're saying like a lot of people aren't like. I was listening to a Vegas insider who said maybe put a little bit of money on Herbert to win the MVP.
It's not a bad bet, though. I mean, he has the upside. Let's see, what are his MVP odds? Was he getting like probably plus 1,500? Let's see.
I think he's middle of the pack. Yeah, so I think
he's 9-1. So he's only getting 900 plus 900.
Oh, he must have been. He must have went down.
He actually has better odds than Burrow.
Really?
Yeah.
This guy was saying he was like middle of the pack. So
this is a June 30th article, so this is relatively fresh. Allen 7-1, Mahomes 8-1, Brady 8-1, Rodgers 9-1, Herbert 9-1, Burrow 12-1, Stafford, Prescott, Wilson 14-1, Jackson, Murray 20-1, Hurts 25-1, Derek Carr 20. Now I will say this. 25-1 on Derek Carr is a juicy proposition with Devontae Adams sitting out there.
I don't know, man.
Oh, man, you don't know?
No, I'm saying I kind of, Burrow's one sounds a little interesting.
Burrow at 12-1 isn't bad, but Carr at 25-1? He could put up some massive numbers this season.
Yeah, was the Seminole Hard Rock fucking app coming back?
Yeah, no, don't count on that anytime soon.
Can't you like put some kind of lawsuit together?
Yeah, I'm sure the Native Americans have a very competent legal team that's working on this for them, Lummy.
But you can represent you and me.
If
we can go fight them.
If you get into an auto accident while using the app, I will represent you. How about that?
No,
I am not well versed in Native American gambling law.
No,
okay?
I'm saying we go
what
to the
I can read it and I can understand it. Look,
we go to the state, Brian. We sue the state.
They can do whatever they. So the problem for them is they always knew it was a stretch. They can do whatever they want on Seminole grounds. They could have a sports book at their property. They don't want to do it.
Oh,
they could have. So if you're mad at anybody, be mad at the Seminoles because they can have a sports book on their property. There's nothing that the state of Florida can do to stop that. What they cannot do is this funny interpretation of the law that somehow if the bet is made through the servers on their tribal properties that you are present on the tribal property when you make that bet. That's the problem with the workaround they were trying to do. But if they wanted to open up a sports book tomorrow and have it open, an actual sports book there, they could.
I thought they were building one.
They were. I don't know why they stopped it.
Probably put more fucking bingo machines in there for the old women.
They must have decided that it's not going to be worth their while to have a bunch of drunken fools there betting $5 on an NFL game and sitting there all day.
Well, yeah, but they're paying $15 for that drink.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, because it's not free alcohol.
No, that's true. That's true.
They got a monopoly. Talk about a monopoly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would potentially be one, but for the fact that
it's on Indian, it's on the native land.
They're their own sovereign nation.
Yeah, wow.
So,
have you done it? You should do a 23andMe and see if you got any Native American there, Brian.
Yeah, I thought you were hitting on me there. You want any Native? You have any Native American in you? You want some?
You want to bring your Derek Carr over? We can have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've gone past the time of where now you're getting a little crazy, Brian.
I'm getting a little hangry.
Me too.
It's time to eat. You and I should go out to dinner one night, Lummy, after the show.
Yeah, I'd totally be down with that.
Yeah, I'll treat you out. I'll take you out for dinner one night.
Where would you take me, Brian?
What do you feel like? What do you like?
I like everything.
I mean, if you're dressed the way you're dressed, it limits the locations that I can take you.
I would not dress this way if we had a plan to go out to eat.
If you wanted to get dressed up nice, I love Ocean Prime.
Oh, okay.
Or we could do, something a little bit more laid back. If you want to do World of Beer one night, we could do that.
Yeah.
So you just let me know. We'll make a date of it.
Will do.
Not next week, though.
No.
I got kid duty next week, but maybe the following week.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Brian.
Enjoy your game of Monopoly coleslaw. It'll be fun.
Don't forget that we're live tomorrow, twitch.tv/The Bubba Army, 6 a.m. All your Bubba Army merch, go to Bubba Army Shop, Bubba Army Store. We will be live tomorrow.
With Brent Hatley.
Oh, yeah, Brent Hatley is sitting in Brian's seat right there.
And then 12 o'clock, the Bubba Babyface political show.
You're right. He's wrong.
I'm right.
Left.
You're wrong / left.
12 o'clock, right?
Nooner.
Check it out. Have a good one, everyone.
See you.